Hey guys, what's up? This is Marquita from At Home with Quita. Thank you for joining me on another video. I do appreciate you stopping by my channel and continuing to support me on this whole planner thing that I'm doing. So in today's video, we're actually going to be doing some hand lettering. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I practice my hand lettering. I am no professional by any means. I'm kind of still faking it right now because I'm not that comfortable with hand lettering. And so I do a lot of faux hand lettering and I just kind of wing it. So I thought today I'd show you some ways that I practice my hand lettering, and so I thought that would be super cool. I've gotten a lot of questions over some time asking me how I hand letter, but like I said, I'm not a professional and I still feel like my handwriting needs a lot of work, but I thought I would just show you what I'm using as a newbie hand letterer, so that way if you are new as well, you can kind of pick up some of these things that I'm doing, and maybe that will help you with your hand lettering as well. So as usual, if you are new here on my channel, I do hope that you will consider subscribing and also liking this video. So if you want to see how I'm practicing my hand lettering, then make sure to stick around. Alright guys, so what I thought I would do first on this video is I would show you the tools that I'm using, and then we'll talk about the software that I'm using, and then I'll show you some printables that I'm using, and then I'll talk you through how I actually hand letter on paper as well. I don't do a lot of practicing on paper. Normally I practice everything on my iPad. So again, we're going to talk about tools that I use first. I use the iPad Pro. As you can see here, it's the big iPad Pro. My husband purchased this from a coworker. He got a really good deal on it, and so he wasn't using it, so I said, do you mind if I have it? And of course he said yes, because he already has another iPad. He didn't really use this, so this is what I'm using to do my hand lettering. I purchased this little pouch here from Amazon that I can use to store my Apple Pencil in, and so that's what I'm using to hand letter as well, and so that just stays attached, that way I don't lose it. And so I use the Apple Pencil here, and I did purchase this cover as well on Amazon, that way I can have a cute pencil instead of just the white pencil here, and it also has a grip on it, which makes hand lettering easier. And so that's what I'm using the majority of the time. I also do have my two favorite pens for hand lettering here. I have the Tombow pen here. I'm not sure the exact one, but once I figure it out, of course, I'll put it in the description below. And then I also use this inner gel pen because, again, I told you guys I do faux hand lettering. So I don't use this the way I'm supposed to use it. Well, I guess there's really no right or wrong way, but I don't hand letter with only just this pen. I hand letter with this pen in addition to the inner gel pen. So if you can see here, kind of here how the tip looks, it's really good for beginners. That's why I purchased it, because it was a referral from someone who actually is a professional, probably Kelly Creates, who I'm going to talk about a little bit later. So those are the main tools that I use. Then also I have a sheet of paper here, and that's self-explanatory. You're going to need paper if you want to practice hand lettering on paper. So those are all of the tools that I use. All right, so we're here on my home screen. This is software that most everyone uses. It's called Procreate. There is a cost to it, I believe, on the App Store, but I think it's pretty reasonable, unless maybe it's free now, or maybe there's a more scaled down version. I'm not quite sure, but I did pay for this. Again, it's called Procreate. So this is the software that I'm using to import in all of my files so that I can do my hand lettering and practice it within this app. And so let me show you the process for doing that, and then we'll talk about more about, actually showing you how I hand letter. So I use Kelly Creates printables. So if I go here to the internet, Kelly Creates, she is wonderful. She's amazing. She's who I follow for hand lettering. I also follow some other hand lettering babes, but Kelly Creates is my go-to because I do feel like you have to pick a style who you like, and I like Kelly Creates, and I want to emulate her style because I think it's going to work best for me. She does lots of bouncy letters, and I love bouncy lettering. So here is the website that I have purchased those printables to. So if I go into my account, which I am here now, and I go into downloads, it'll show you what you have purchased. She does have some free bouncy lettering drills also, and I think Fun with Flourishing does as well. You probably can find some free downloads anywhere. I just decided to purchase these. It came with 3 different sets, and so it's working for me. And so if I go ahead and download, let's download, well, I'm just going to show you how you can download and import into Procreate. So if I go to download here, it's going to show me the first page. And so what you do is you take a screenshot by holding the top. Everybody knows that, holding the top and holding this bottom here. Take the screenshot, and then of course Apple is going to allow you to edit it. So I go ahead and zoom in a little bit just so I can get more of a tight image, and then I go to done, save to photos, and then I'm going to open up Procreate, and I'm going to go back out of here because you can have folders in Procreate. And so that's what I have here because I wanted everything to be organized. So I've got my Kelly Creates drills, I got uppercase, lowercase, some printable wisdom, and some more drills. So I like to kind of keep everything organized by who I purchased it from. So what I find is the easiest thing to do for me is I go ahead and I want to have 2 pages showing. So if I click on my photos here and I drag it over, and actually it may make me turn back this way. And then what I do is I go ahead and just find that image, which is here, and then I just drag it over. And then close that out. Super easy. So here it is. That's the one I just took a screenshot of, and then it puts it in your gallery. Now if you want to put it in a folder, you just hold it down and put it right on top of the folder. But I already have that one. I just wanted to show you how to import it in. So again, you're going to take a screenshot, and then once you have the screenshot, go to your photos. I like to just drag it over, but you could import it in as well. So either way, but that just is what I find to be the easiest for me. So I just wanted to show you that really quickly. So we have talked about the software that I'm using. We have talked about all of the tools that I'm using. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you how I actually practice. I'm going to tilt this to the side a little bit just because that's how I write. So if we go into Kelly Creates Drills, which is where I'm at most of the time. All right, so let's go ahead and open one up just so I can show you how I actually practice my hand lettering. So this is one of my favorite drills. So the first thing that you do after you import it in and you know that this is what you want to work with, you're going to add a layer. And how you do that is you hit these 2 squares at the top right, and you're going to make sure that you have 2 layers. You're going to automatically have one, which is the actual printable, but you want to have 2 layers. So that way, when you're writing on this and you get ready to delete it or start over again, you're not deleting the whole page, because that's what it'll do if you only have 1 layer. So you have to have a protective layer on top. So that way, when you go to write on it like that, you can go up here, hit that, go to clear, and it'll clear it out. Now if you only have 1 layer, then it's not going to allow you to do that because that layer is locked. So it's going to delete everything. If you go to the delete tool, you can't see that here because again, I have 2 layers. It's going to delete everything. And so you want to make sure that you just have 2 layers, and you're just going to hit this plus sign here, and then you're going to add that layer. It's super easy. And so that way you'll have a protective layer on top. So you're going to do that with every single file. So don't forget that because that's really important. So let's go ahead and tilt this to the side because that's traditionally how I hand letter. I actually normally turn it this way, but we're going to do it like this so that way you can kind of see the entire picture of everything. So I normally hand letter in a different color other than black, and so normally that's pink or like some sort of purple or teal or something like that because I love those colors and I want it to stand out. I don't want it to blend in. I want to see what I'm actually writing versus what Kelly Creates has already had here. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to practice your drills. And so if you go here to the brush tool, you can pick out your brushes. Now the brush that I have is actually a brush that a friend of mine gave me that I believe she paid for, but she did airdrop it to me, which was awesome. And so I have the Perfect Drills brush, but of course this does come standard with a whole bunch of other brushes, so you just have to kind of play around with the options to see what works best for you. And then if you come here on the side, you can make it bigger or smaller, and then this is the transparency, but of course you want that full on. So I normally keep it somewhere in the middle depending on which drill I'm working on. You can also zoom in if you want to zoom in to kind of get in there really, really good. You can do that. So it's up to you with how you want to do it. And also make sure you're on layer 2, because if you're on layer 1, it's not going to work. You got to be on the current layer, the top layer. So again, you can zoom in if you want. You can tilt it. You can do whatever you want. So that's why I said normally I work like this, because I have it tilted all the way around like that. And then I'm really zooming in to get, to get in there real deep. So, but I'm going to do it this way, and I'm just going to zoom in a little bit because I'm going to show you how I actually hand letter. And so this Procreate is really, really super functional, and you can kind of set it up the way you want it to make it user-friendly for you. But again, this is how I practice my hand lettering, and I just import the files in. There's so much more that you can do with this in Procreate. But again, since I'm just a newbie hand lettering, I don't utilize it to the full. And so hopefully I can do that in the future. Right now I'm just practicing so that I can even get the basic concepts down. And so this one is just small in the top and then bigger at the bottom. So I just keep practicing this daily over and over again, and it never gets old. So I'm going to be doing this probably until, you know, for a while at least. So then what I do is I just come here, and again, I've already selected my color, and so I'll just go in. And the iPad is really good with detecting pressure, so you can press down at the thicker strokes and lighten up on the thinner strokes. So don't feel like you're going to break the iPad. You got to do it in order to really get the sense of how you're supposed to hand letter in real life or on paper. And so I just keep practicing. Super easy, right? It's therapeutic, so I'll take this in my bed and I'll just lay there and I'll just do drills. And I feel like I'm getting better. Of course, I've got a long way to go, but I do feel like this helps. And I can't recall the cost, but of course I'll put a link in the description box to let you know how much these printables cost. And if you want to purchase them, you're more than welcome to do that. But again, there's lots of free sites out there, and you can do this with any image. All you have to do again is just take a screenshot of it and import it into Procreate. So don't feel like you have to buy printables. You can pretty much do this with anything online, any printables that are free. So yeah, no pressure there. But eventually you may want to purchase some drills if you're really serious about your hand lettering and getting better at it. So again, just drills all day long. And so I'll just go through that, and then I'll come here at the bottom and we'll do it bigger. And I also, you know, normally do this as well. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So it's all up to you. So again, as you can see, I feel like I'm getting better, but I'm not 100% there. I'm not even like 50% there, because I want to get to the point where I'm not faux hand lettering. I'm actually hand lettering. So that's super easy, right? So that's one drill, and this is my favorite drill because I feel like it's what I'm lacking. Like my M's are bad, my N's are bad. You know, certain letters are bad, so I try to practice the drills for those letters. And then again, Kelly Creates has like a whole alphabet that you can practice. She's got tons of stuff here in this printable. Again, there was 3 different sets that all came together, but it's super helpful. So again, but you want to make sure you have 2 layers. You see what I mean? So I don't have 2 layers. So now if I exit it out of this, it would keep this here. I wouldn't be able to delete it. So if that happens, just try to catch it before you exit out of it, and then go backspace, back it out, then add your layer here. So I've never used this one before, so that's why there's no layer there. And then also what you can do is you can change a couple of things here to make the hand lettering easier. I think my girlfriend showed me how to do that. I think you go into the brushes. Yeah, so you're going to go into the brushes, and then you're going to change the streamline. Now the less the streamline, the more messy it's going to be. It's less forgiving. You see that? I'm doing the same thing I was doing before, but it's less forgiving. I mean, it's more precise. You have to be more precise. But if you add the streamlining, and of course this is not real life stuff, so you also have to take that into mind, is that if you want a real life scenario, then of course the less streamlined, in my opinion, is the best. But if you add more streamlining, then it's going to kind of make everything stay in place a little bit better. And then if I add even more streamlining, you see that? It's just making it easier. So you probably want to start like that at the beginning, because, you know, being a newbie hand letter, you're going to need as much help as you can get. But just remember that this is not real life. In real life, you have to control the pen. And so let's go ahead and delete that. So you see what I mean? If I didn't have that layer on, it would be deleting the actual document. So that's how I practice my hand lettering. And again, I've got Kelly Creates here, and I've got lots of other ones here that I can practice. And it's helpful to help me to make my hand lettering a lot better. And hopefully eventually I'll get to a point to where I feel really comfortable. And again, I told you I keep that document, blank document there, so that way I can go into it and I can just say, okay, I want to practice my, you know, my L's. And then I'll just come in here and practice my L's. And I'll turn that down a little bit. Make sure that I have the correct brush. Yep. And then I'll just practice my L's. And again, since I'm not really proficient with hand lettering the right way, my lines aren't the correct way that they're supposed to be. And so I'm just not that comfortable with it yet. And so that's why I need to continue to practice. So if I turn that up a little bit, let's see. I keep forgetting that you can put down more pressure. You see what I mean? Less pressure, more pressure. So I'm getting better, but again, I've got a long way to go. But I come here if I just want to say, you know, I just want to practice my my M's, you know, because my M's are horrific. Yeah, so this is great to add to your images as well. Inside of one of the folders, just have a blank one in there to get to it easily, so that way you can go in here and you can practice what you've learned doing all of these drills. So that is what I do on a daily basis. I carry this with me and just keep it in wherever I'm located, whether it be downstairs or upstairs. That way I can have it nearby, and if I just want to practice for 5 to 10 minutes, you don't have to practice for hours, but just at least try to do something daily, so that way you can get better if, again, you want to get serious with your hand lettering. And so let's take it offline and I'll show you how I actually hand letter, because again, I told you I faux hand letter. I don't hand letter the right way, I guess you can say. Again, stop saying right or wrong, because it's the way that works best for me. So if I was to hand letter a letter, let's say letter M, then I would use, again, my inner gel pen, and then I would use this in addition to that, because again, I need to fill in the additional space. So I would go like this. And we don't want it to look like that, of course. So I would take this and I would do my downstrokes. So whenever you see my spreads and you see hand lettering on them, this is how I do them. You see what I mean? So it's super easy, and if you want it thicker, you can go in with a thicker pen, or you can make the line thicker by just adding an additional line. So it takes a little more work, but in my opinion, because I'm such a newbie, maybe it doesn't take so much work, because I don't have to keep rewriting the letter or the word over and over again. I know that this way or this method is going to work best for me. And so if I was to continue and write my name, and my R's are atrocious too, but I feel like doing the practice is really helping. So again, that's my name, and then you're going to come behind it, and everybody probably has their own method of faux hand lettering, but this I find works best for me. I used to just take my inner gel pen and go back around it and then color it in, but that was taking too much work, so I just purchased this on Amazon, and this works out really well. And I kind of hold my hand to the side, so I think there is a science behind how you hold your hand as well, just to kind of get it perfect. And then you can always just go back in if you need to, and you're doing the thicker strokes on the down line, when you're coming down. I sound a little bit like a professional, don't I? And I'm so not, but I feel like, you know, the more and more I practice, the better I get. And so that's the key here. Practice makes progress. That's my favorite thing to say, because you're never going to be perfect at anything. And so that is how I hand letter, guys. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't forget anything. We talked about software. Procreate, again, is the software that I use. We talked about tools. These are my main tools here. My iPad Pro, as well as the iPad Pencil. And then these two pens here, which I keep in my planner together, both of them in one all-in-one planner. I have 2 pen loops, and then of course I also use the Kelly Creates printables, which again I'll leave a link below just in case you're interested in those, and then a sheet of paper just to do some offline practicing. So hopefully that helps. Any of you veterans out there, make sure to leave a comment below. Let me know if there's any tips or tricks that I'm missing or that would make my hand lettering better, or practicing it more beneficial and more productive. So just let me know. I'm always willing to hear you out and to hear from those who have been doing this for a while what may help me. So that's it for this video, guys. I really do hope that I inspired you in some way. You got something out of this video and you found something that you want to use in your planner. Again, make sure to drop me a comment below. Let me know what you think of this whole thing. I will make sure to let you know all of the specifics in the description box as well. And I do really appreciate you stopping by my channel today, and I hope that you will consider subscribing and liking this video. So again, thanks so much for watching today. Hopefully I'll be doing more hand lettering videos, and hopefully you will catch me over on my IG where you can see all of my hand lettering put to use. So again, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one.